Kathy, tell me, like, what is the difference about you as a realtor here on Lake Hopatcong? Like, I don't know, who are you? What do you do?
Well, I've been selling real estate 27 years. I pretty much sell 9 out of the 10 homes here on the lake.
You sell 9 out of 10 homes here on the lake?
Yes.
Holy cow, that's amazing. Why or how?
Well, honestly, the education piece is huge for buyers today. This is a real commitment when they come up to our lake. Some people don't even know Lake Hopatcong even existed.
Yeah, now I've heard that.
Yeah, you know, once COVID hit, people needed to get to the great outdoors and vacation where they live every day. And this is where it is. You're 1 hour from New York City.
True.
And we have so much to offer, not just the lake style life, and of course, every house, very individual. This particular property, 600 feet of waterfront, stunning down the lake
this
views.
is amazing. This is amazing.
Boathouse, completely private. You're just tucked away here on this corner, and yet your access to local marinas, restaurants, and shops, all within minutes.
But something, again, I live here, Lake Hopatcong too. Something tells me it's not that easy as just a house, because I assume all the things that come with this,
Yes.
you need to know.
Absolutely.
Septics, zoning,
Sure. So
riparian
you're-
rights.
Exactly. You're in 2 counties on 4 towns here. Some properties have I would say about 35% of the lake do have sewers and public
Okay.
water. The rest of the lake, because it is more rural, would be made up with septic, wells, and, you know, a little bit more property.
Well,
because you can actually get a little bit more acreage on this side of the lake on the Sussex County side.
So we're here in.
We're in the Jefferson. We're at the
Jefferson.
very north side of the lake.
So let's talk about the septic thing, because everybody doesn't understand septics here. And this area is not septic, and this is a rather grand house. So
Right.
I assume you bring in value to understand how that works and what they
Sure.
need to worry about.
Sure. So they are actually on a septic system here, and they really have no fear because, you know, you test your septics before you close on a property. If there's an issue, you work it out with your seller and buyer. Some people close and fix them after, some fix them before. It really just depends. Today, it's all new and improved. There's a lot better systems today than there were in 1970.
And something tells me you've navigated a few of those system issues in 26 years.
100%.
Yeah,
It won't
all of
hold
them.
up a closing. The systems work, they're just not to today's code.
And I assume you help the buyers and sellers figure all that out?
100%.
Yeah, that's your value, is you make this complicated transaction easy because of.
Knowledge,
Yeah.
experience, and the right people that you have involved in the transaction.
To make it easy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can we take a look at this?
Sure, take a
so
look.
what's
This
one of
is
the biggest,
amazing.
when you think about lakefront property, what is one of the number one things everybody needs to consider?
So what people want to know is how are you going to use your property, right? So this particular property, when you come up here, the folks.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Look at this.
This is an entertainment home,
Yeah, this really is.
and it was built with entertainment in mind.
Wow.
They wanted the privacy, so being tucked away here on all of this waterfront, very difficult to find, 600 feet of waterfront.
Yeah, look at this. We have views like 180 degrees.
Sunsets right here.
Holy cow!
Spectacular.
Yeah. That's great.
This is the place to come and close out your evening, maybe a little scotch and cigar, maybe ladies' night with some wine and cheese.
Nice.
This is the location, the hot tub right there.
Oh, great. It has electric down there and everything, I
It
assume?
does.
Oh,
And then
wow.
the lower deck is actually the diving deck. So there's a swim ladder down there. You can dive right in. It's 30 feet of water.
That's amazing.
And,
So-
and you know, again, not everywhere on the lake are you going to get that kind of depth of water.
And
so
I
those
assume
are
you're
some of the
you're doing the lake side of it as well as the land side of it.
right. And the knowledge. Honestly, that's probably the most important part. Understanding what the buyers are looking for first. What's
Yeah.
their budget? Explaining to them the difference between locations, value, sunrise, sunset. There's a lot of navigating.
Traffic, everything.
Absolutely. Before you even get in the car and start looking at houses, it's really more about how are you going to use your property? Are you full-time? Are you part-time? What's your expectation? So really getting together first and sitting down and discussing what your wants and needs are, and then talking about pricing and locations.
What do you think the biggest challenge is for someone that's looking to buy on Lake Hopatcong?
Right now it's inventory.
Yeah.
There's very few homes because it is very desirable, the location, again, to the city for convenience. People that really want to be able to walk out their back door on a Saturday afternoon and not get in a car and pack up all their family to
Yeah.
go to the beach or go out to a vacation place. They get to live here all the time. But it comes at a price.
Yeah.
And we're not making any more land. Lake Hopatcong is definitely on the map in terms of things that you can do outside of not just living in your lake house. We're 20 minutes from this location to a major spa and golf resort up at Crystal Springs. You're also about a half hour to get up to Mountain Creek, which is a very well-known ski area. You can also cross into Pennsylvania. There's a huge mall right over the border here on the Delaware-Water Gap, half hour away. You're probably 35 minutes to Morristown from this location.
Train stations aren't far away.
We have train stations that take you right to New York. So you can drive down to Dover, park your car and go. And we have 2 local ones here as well, one in Mount Arlington and one in Landing. So it makes the convenience, especially if you're coming from the city, maybe you don't have a car. You get on the train, come out here, call an Uber.
Maybe you need a boat.
Maybe you need a boat to get here, exactly. Well, and again, that is the big draw. We are the largest lake in New Jersey. We are a motorboat lake, a gas-driven lake. And there's all different styles of boats that you can obtain here. There are wakeboard boats, obviously ski boats, pontoon boats seem to be the most.
There's no limitation, really.
Right, but those are probably the most popular, but there's no limitation. You know, this lake has all of that to offer, plus kayaking. You know, during the week, I mean, today, this is great.
Ice skating?
Ice skating, because we're all 4 seasons. Yeah. It's not just summer. Well, and I think that's a misconception, Ray. People think, oh, I'm coming up to the lake for the summer. No, you're coming here for 4 seasons. You should see what this looks like in the fall when the leaves are turning. It's fantastic.
Or the winter when it's quiet and there's nobody here. And you know that because...
Ice fishing, ice skating, snowmobile.
And you live on the lake, so you know all this.
And I live here on the lake.
Yeah. And where you're in Kings Cove?
I'm in King Cove, right by the old Bertrand Island Amusement Park. Yep. So a little bit of a vintage area, which is great. But again, my property compared to this property, there's differences, and that's the knowledge of why you want to sit down and discuss your wants and needs.
So inventory is an issue on the lake, but what's the other big obstacle people run into when they first come to look for property on Lake Hopatcong? Like, what's some big problems they run into, or issues they have, or places that they need to think about?
Honestly, it's just really thinking about how are they going to use the house. Sometimes if it's lack of parking, if they want to come here for entertainment, then, you know, it doesn't matter what the house looks like. It's really more about what is the land like. If they can't climb stairs, they don't want to walk down to the lake or up to the house. Those are really important things to know. And again, that all comes down to sitting down with a knowledgeable agent and doing that initial consultation so that I'm not taking people to homes that wasting their time. I mean, listen, time is important. People have very limited time on the weekends. They have families, kids in sports. So when I sit down with them, I really listen to their needs so I can deliver the right results.
Yeah, so it almost sounds like coming to you saves a whole bunch of time between you're going to look to actually being in a home like this.
Sure. You know, going on the internet is great because you get a level of education and you can kind of shop for houses. Yeah. But you will never understand the difference between house A, B, or C until you're actually here.
Because you got to be here. You have to understand what it means to have water here, to have traffic here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I actually drive buyers past homes that have closed that they said, oh, I would have bought that if I had known, if I was looking sooner. And because I've listened to their criteria, I drive them over and I say, are you sure you would have bought this one? And they're like, no, actually, you're right. I'm going back to the other one.
That's neat.
Sometimes we start off with the very first house, and I know it's the right house for them. But again, it's take the time to bring people around so that they become their own advocate to know this is the right house for me.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you're just taking them through the whole process and educating them as well as trying to, help them avoid mistakes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because this is one of the largest investments you're going to make.
So if I can, about this particular home, I mean, this is a magnificent home and a magnificent spot. I know enough about the water out here. You could literally fish off this dock and kill it. I mean, It's really great right here. But, did you have any clients that just didn't get it? Or that they didn't understand everything that this house offered?
Well, again, each person has a different concept of what they want in lake life. For some people, this was more than they wanted to manage.
Yeah.
So they're, Kathy, this is beautiful and we can afford it, but really it's more than we want to have to manage.
Take on, yeah. Right. There's a lot here.
But the good news is the people that are moving here, they're taking the list with them of all of the service people that came here.
Oh, that's great.
In terms of landscape people that have been here, housekeepers, things that you don't really think about, having those local connections of people that already know the home, that's really important.
And they
bring that value to the buyer.
That's great stuff. Let's get inside and warm it up. She's freezing. Good job. That was awesome.